biggest space race in history is happening right now, and almost nobody realizes it because these rays in T about flags on the moon or astronauts waving to cameras. This race is about money, power, control, and who will dominate the future of humanity. And the most shocking part is that this race has already started, and billions of dollars are being spent every single week above our heads while most people scroll social media and never look up at the night sky. Because if you did, you would notice something strange. Tiny moving lights crossing the stars, thousands of satellites silently surrounding Earth. And that is where this story truly begins, because space is no longer a dream. It has become the biggest business opportunity in human history. A trillion-dollar frontier waiting to be controlled by whoever moves first. When people hear the word space race, they imagine the Cold War. The United States versus the Soviet Union. Rockets exploding on launch pads. Neil Armstrong stepping onto the moon while the world held its breath. But that story ended decades ago, and what replaced it is far more intense, far more secretive, and far more dangerous. Because today, the space race is not between countries. It is between billionaires and private companies. And their goal is simple yet terrifying. Control space before anyone else does. And here comes the first major revelation that most people don't understand. Space is no longer just exploration. Space is infrastructure. And whoever controls infrastructure controls civilization. Right now, satellites, power, GPS, banking systems, weather forecasting, communication networks, global shipping, aviation, and even military defense. Meaning modern life depends entirely on technology floating hundreds of kilometers above Earth. And without it, the world would collapse within days. Imagine waking up tomorrow with no GPS, no internet, no satellite communication, no global banking, number weather prediction, flights grounded, ships lost at sea, markets crashing, and chaos spreading across countries within hours. Because this isn't science fiction. This is the fragile reality of modern civilization. And whoever controls space controls the systems that keep the world running. Now, here comes the second reveal. One that completely changes the way you see the night sky. Because thousands of satellites have been launched in the past few years alone, creating massive networks of space internet designed to cover every inch of the planet, including remote villages, oceans, deserts, and polar regions. And this sounds helpful at first, bringing the internet to everyone, connecting the world, empowering education and business. But beneath this noble idea lies a hidden truth. Whoever owns space internet owns global communication. Imagine a future where entire countries rely on private companies in orbit for connectivity, where wars, economies, and governments depend on satellite networks owned by corporations instead of nations. And suddenly space becomes the most powerful communication network in history. But the story gets deeper because communication is only the beginning. The next step in the race is transportation, and rockets are becoming cheaper, faster, and reusable, transforming space travel from rare government missions into weekly commercial launches. And this is where the third reveal changes everything. Because reusable rockets reduced the cost of reaching space by nearly 90%, turning space from a national project into a business. And when the cost dropped, opportunity exploded. Suddenly, launching satellites became affordable. Space tourism became real. And companies began planning missions to the moon and Mars, not as dreams, but as business plans. And now we reach the part of the story that feels like science fiction, but is already being planned in boardrooms and research labs around the world. Asteroid mining. Hidden among millions of asteroids in our solar system are unimaginable amounts of rare metals, platinum, gold, cobalt, and materials essential for future technology. Resources worth trillions of dollars waiting to be extracted. And the first company to successfully mine an asteroid could become wealthier than entire countries overnight. Think about that for a moment. Trillion-dollar mining operations floating in space, harvesting resources that could power industries for centuries. And suddenly the race becomes clear. Space is the next gold rush. But instead of ships crossing oceans, rockets are crossing the sky. History has shown us this pattern before. Every time humanity discovers a new frontier, a race for control begins. The age of exploration created empires. The Industrial Revolution created corporations. And now the space age may create the first trip. But here is where the story becomes darker and more unsettling. Because space is not just becoming a business frontier. it is becoming a military battleground. Countries are developing anti-satellite weapons capable of destroying orbiting infrastructure in minutes. And one successful attack could disable communication networks across entire continents, meaning the next global conflict could begin not on land or sea, but in orbit. Satellites are now considered strategic assets, as important as aircraft carriers and nuclear submarines. And governments know that losing control of space could mean losing control of modern warfare. Suddenly, the space race becomes urgent, because no nation wants to fall behind, and the pace of launches is accelerating faster than ever before. But even this is not the ultimate prize, because the real target in this race is the moon. For decades, the moon was seen as a symbol of achievement, a place visited once and forgotten. But today, it is being reimagined as the first space economy hub, a permanent base for mining, fuel production, and deep space travel. Scientists have discovered water ice hidden in permanently shadowed craters on the moon. And water in space is more valuable than gold because it can be turned into rocket fuel, oxygen, and drinking water, meaning the moon could become a refueling station for missions to Mars and beyond. Imagine rockets launching from Earth, refueling on the moon, then continuing deeper into the solar system, turning the moon into the gateway to humanity's expansion across space. Whoever controls lunar infrastructure controls the future of space travel, and now the parallels to history become impossible to ignore. Centuries ago, powerful nations fought for control of oceans and trade routes, because whoever controlled shipping lanes controlled global commerce. And today the same battle is beginning in space, except the trade routes are orbital paths and the ships are rockets. The similarities are chilling. The same competition, the same ambition, the same desire for power and dominance. But this time the frontier is infinite, and this race is moving faster than anyone expected. Rocket launches happen almost weekly. New satellites are deployed constantly, and plans for moon bases and Mars missions grow more ambitious every year. Within the next decade, permanent human bases may exist on the moon, and the first humans may set foot on Mars. And when that happens, the balance of power on Earth will shift forever, because space will no longer be a destination. It will become a new economy, a new industry, and possibly a new home for humanity. Imagine a future where people work in orbit, live on lunar bases, mine asteroids, and travel between planets as part of everyday life. A future that sounds impossible today but felt equally impossible when humans first imagined airplanes or the internet. The billion-dollar space race is not coming. It is already here, happening silently above us every single day. And now comes the final reveal. The most unsettling question of all. What kind of future will this race create? Will space become a shared frontier where humanity works together? Or will it become the ultimate battlefield for wealth and power? Because every great frontier in history has shaped civilization for centuries, and space may shape the next 1,000 years of human history. The decisions being made today will determine who controls the next era of technology, communication, and exploration. And while most people go about their daily lives unaware, rockets continue to launch, satellites continue to multiply, and the race continues to accelerate. Humanity is standing at the edge of a new age, the beginning of a space economy that could transform civilization forever. The biggest space race in history is not in the past. It is happening right now. And the winners of this race may shape the destiny of humanity itself. And the most shocking part is that we are only at the beginning. The next decade will decide everything. Who leads, who follows, and who controls the future beyond Earth. So the next time you look up at the night sky and see a tiny moving light crossing the stars, remember this. You are watching the new space race unfold in real time. A race for power, wealth, and the future of civilization. And the outcome will change the world forever. If you want to witness the next chapter of humanity as it unfolds, subscribe now. Because the future is no longer science fiction. It is being built in space right now, and we are living at the moment when everything begins to change.